First of all, good afternoon. I didn't know who was going to be here, so I'm just pleased to see so many people. We got some people from Wayne, Nebraska. We got people from Kansas, from Lincoln, just all kinds, from around the world. It's nice. Vietnamese communities represented. So first of all, I thank you for coming and help celebrate my dad's life, because that's exactly what we're doing, is to celebrate that. Secondly, I want to thank everyone that had any part to do with this. This does not happen magically. It takes work. So first of all, I'd like to thank Pastor Scott allowing us to be here at Calvary Christian Church, first thing. During my time when I come here, whenever I go to church, our church that we grew up in is gone, Pilgrim Lutheran Church, at least from where we knew. So I didn't know where to really turn to. But Bethany and Steve, they go to this church, and I got to know Scott, listen to him. He was preaching the message that I know Dad and my family believe in. And so we came here and called up Scott. He's on vacation, and he emails me and says, "Hey, I'm on vacation, but I hear your situation. I'm going to do everything I can to make this work." And then the next thing I know is he's putting it all together and everything. He's got interns that are working with him. He's got so many. He's got a pastor. He's got things on his plate, and he's got his family. And then when I heard that he wanted us to have the service at a different time, because I didn't know this part, but he had family commitments, a birthday, and some Little League games. But you know what? He didn't tell me that. He just said, "You know what, Chi? We're going to make it work." And at first I thought it was going to be one of the associate pastors, but Scott actually is doing it, and he's missing his kid's birthday party right now. So Scott, thank you very much. And I met some new people with the rest of the church. We have Jeremy and Brielle's wife, and then we've had Jennifer help out, and we've had Colton. So it's just once again for this church, because it's not my church, but you know what? It's God's church, and we're honoring God through my dad's life. So once again, thank you for coming. I'm not going to share the Vietnamese story. Most people know that one. I like my brother as a person. I'm going to share a funny story. So the funny story, and then I'll get a little serious. But the funny story is, so Dad's visiting us, and it was in Oklahoma. So all four of us, Atsuko, Jonathan, Justin, and I are in the car, and we're driving, and Dad's with us. And so one of the kids, I can't remember which one, but they just said, "Hey, Dad, can we play the sentence game?" And I go, "Sure, we'll play the sentence game." And the rule of the sentence game is, we start a sentence, I start a word, and then we all add a word and make a sentence out of it. And so, okay, I'll start, then there'll be Jonathan, Justin, then Mom, and then Dad will end the sentence. So that was the idea behind it. So I told Dad, I go, "Dad, do you understand the rules?" He goes, "Yeah, I think so, I got it." So I go, "Okay, so you're going to have that last word of the sentence, okay? So kind of be thinking about how we make each one of those the words out." So I go, "The." And then I think Jonathan next said dog. And then I think Justin said walked. And then Atsuko said and. And then my dad, he used a different word, but he said crept. It was a 4-letter word. And then my boys was like, because they were young at the time, like, "What?" And then we all started laughing. And they go, "Grandpa just said a bad word." And I go, "Yeah, but it's okay, it was funny, we all laughed," and then that's the story on that one. I would not be here today if it wasn't for my dad, so there would be no Chi Russell, not the way you know Chi Russell. Absolutely not at all. I'd either be dead because of during the war in Vietnam, or I'd be living the life of a rice paddy farmer. So I've been blessed to live this really great life that Dad set up for all three of us. And I've had a chance to travel the world, and one thing that I've really seen about human nature, what we call our human world, is that we tend to value things in terms of position. Okay? However, my dad saw the world in a different way. He saw it in a godly way. And he saw it that in God's world, not our world, but God's world, he saw things in value rather than position, but by purpose. Okay? And so I'd like to just share this thought and that I was thinking. So remember, human world, value positional. God's world, value purposeful. And he taught us this, these different values, the differences between these two values. So God blessed me by putting the greatest man I've ever met into my life, my dad. Though he wasn't a world leader nor a politician by position, he led our family in purpose. Though he wasn't a Fortune 500 millionaire by position, he paid the bills for our medical needs, ensured a roof over our head, put food on the table, provided for our clothing on our backs, and basically worked hard all the time for other necessities of life in purpose. Though he wasn't a religious clergy nor scholar by position, he introduced us to God by sending us to church in purpose. Though he wasn't an ethics pundit by position, he instilled in us universal mores, values, beliefs, behaviors, and norms in purpose. Though he wasn't famous and was extremely modest and unassuming by position, he treated everyone as if they were above him in purpose. Though he wasn't a 5-star general in position, he served our nation, supported and defended the U.S. Constitution, our nation, and was willing to die for all Americans. By going to the Vietnam War, he showed he was willing to die for non-Americans in purpose. Though I don't know if my dad was a Christian, I know by position, I know he was Christ-like in purpose. As Paul came up with the perfect words, Dad was a man of simple goodwill, and I thought about that. You can't spell goodwill without God. So he was doing God's will. And it's interesting, the greatest commandment in the Bible you can find in John. My dad's name is John. And 13:34, and Dad was born in 1934. That Jesus commanded us by God that we should love one another. That is the greatest commandment. So basically, God is good through my dad, and I just found it interesting that the Bible had John 13:34 as the greatest commandment. So Dad, thank you for everything. Thank you for saving me. Thank you for giving us three the lives that we have now. We're trying to do you proud. We knew that you wanted us to have a better life than you. I think financially and maybe by position we do, but I can speak for myself. I'm nowhere near 1/3, 1/2, whatever fraction that is, to meeting your purpose as a dad. So I will spend the rest of my life trying to do that in your honor.